Yes, friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that, and welcome back to Chelsea News. Today, we're discussing all the clubs that apparently want Marc Cucurella and the secret deal we nearly did with Manchester City. We're going to look at what's going on with Romeo Lavia and his injury, hopefully not too bad. And Chelsea are looking at multiple strikers to sign in January. Do we not fancy Nicholas Jackson then? We'll be citing multiple articles today, and as usual, I'll be giving you my opinion as we go. So thanks for joining me. Do consider liking and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy. Whether you're a new subscriber or someone that's already been subscribed for a while, if you want to be notified when I upload, make sure you turn the bell notifications icon on. Alright then, let's get into it. So let's start off with a Romeo Lavia update, and we're going to cite some information from the Evening Standard. Dom Smith writes, Chelsea fear Romeo Lavia will be sidelined for an extended period after the midfielder's suspected ankle injury was assessed on Friday. The Belgian teenager picked up a knock during a training session at Cobham on Thursday. Lavia, who was signed by Chelsea under the noses of Liverpool this summer in a deal worth up to £58 million, is yet to make a debut for the Blues, having arrived lacking match fitness. It is another blow for manager Mauricio Pochettino, who's endured a string of injuries to players since his appointment at the beginning of the summer. Captain Reece James continues to be plagued by setbacks, having been sidelined with another hamstring injury, and he joins Wesley Fofana, who of course is ruled out for the most of the season with a knee injury. And of course we've got Christopher Nkunku, who's due back probably in the middle of the season, all things going well. Carney Chukwuemeka is set for another month on the sidelines after damaging his knee during last month's 3-1 defeat to West Ham, in which he scored Chelsea's only goal. Banging goal, by the way. In more positive news, Trevoh Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile are nearing the returns, and Armando Bria is building up his fitness after missing the second half of last season. Yeah, strange one with Armando Bria, because I think he's been not injured for a while, so we should see him sooner rather than later. Carney Chukwuemeka is of course a bummer because he looked like he'd be able to deputise for the injured Christopher Nkunku in the number 10 role, but yeah, he'll hopefully be back in not too long. Romeo Lavia, of course, is just a massive kick to the teeth. You know, injured FC back in full effect. Of course, he's not necessarily a banker to start at the moment, and many of us are thinking, should Romeo Lavia start in this current Mauricio Pochettino team, that maybe Chelsea would switch to a 4-3-3 to accommodate both him and Caicedo alongside, Enzo Fernandez, who for me has to start. If you are interested in my thoughts on Chelsea's strongest 11 and why I think that could finish in the Champions League place, do go consider watching my previous upload where I go into detail of who's going to return and who should start and why that's a very, very strong Chelsea team. Of course, Lavia returning to the side could keep Enzo Fernandez in this peculiar number 10 role that we've seen him in, but I'd rather him play as more of a sort of advanced 8 in the double pivot. Frustrating. I don't think Romeo Lavia was going to come in and be the solution to all Chelsea's recent problems. Of course, that has largely been goal scoring, and he's not an attacking player, although function in the midfield often unlocks the attack. Still, hopefully he won't be too long out, and we can see him feature for Chelsea in not too long. Alright then, we're going to jump over to the stranger part of the video now, to the Marc Cucurella admiration posse. And what I mean by that is apparently loads of teams want Cucurella. Look, I'm kind of jesting a little bit when I sort of take the mickey out of this guy. He's a good player, he cost 62 million quid, Man City wanted him, and apparently they still wanted him in January. We're going to jump into an article from goal.com now to find out what the situation is with our Spanish left back. Marc Cucurella has reportedly turned down 4 clubs and rejected 2 approaches in an attempt to prove himself at Chelsea. Wow. According to Fabrizio Romano, United failed to land Marc Cucurella at Old Trafford as Chelsea and the player did not agree to the break clause that the Red Devils wanted in the contract, which meant they could have sent him back to London in January if they wanted. Erik ten Hag wanted a temporary solution due to the injuries to Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia, and wanted to have the option of letting Cucurella return to Chelsea once the regulars were back. However, both Chelsea and Cucurella were not convinced of this deal, and it collapsed and forces Manchester United to settle with Sergio Reguilon. Moreover, Manchester United were not happy with Pochettino naming Cucurella in the Carabao Cup game against Wimbledon, which cup-tied the Spaniard. I didn't actually think about that. Everyone thought, why is he playing? Like, surely he's going to go. But I forgot I cup-tied him so he couldn't play for Man United in that competition. pretty funny, really. Cucurella had no shortage of offers in the end, reported that RB Leipzig, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid, Real Sociedad, and Fulham all approached Chelsea for the defender, but the player was not keen on the move. Even Manchester City made an attempt to get him on board in January with a loan deal, with an option to buy him in the summer, but this was rejected by Chelsea. City manager Pep Guardiola has been a long-term admirer of Cucurella, and after Alexander Zinchenko left for Arsenal, he wanted to get him in to fill that vacancy. So what next? After making a big money move from Brighton last summer to Chelsea, Cucurella has struggled to express himself in his new surroundings. However, under Pochettino, the fullback would hope to revive his form and shine in the ongoing campaign. Yeah, this is really tough, man. Like, apparently he's really rated by football coaches and teams. Lest we forget, he cost a lot of money. He was Brighton's player of the season. He's got this theoretical versatility of playing left centre back, left wing back, just a left-sided player, but he's more defensive than offensive for me. I mean, he has got technical link-up play, and, you know, the ones who have perhaps not been blinded by his struggles may see, yes, there's a very good player in here. Especially the case of how in January, you know, Manchester City tried to sign him, said, look, give us an option, we might buy him, which is really interesting, really. I think Chelsea, like, probably think there's a player there, they don't want to make losses, they don't want to, like, get rid of him on this low value. If you think about it as well, Man City and Pep Guardiola might look at him like, yeah, this is still the player we want, but he's had a terrible time at Chelsea. This is perfect. We won't get, we'll get a discount from what Brighton want. You know, obviously Brighton wants 62 million quid for him. They fleece everyone, especially Chelsea. But they'll see it as an opportunity for him to go to Chelsea for 6 months, lower his value, so that Chelsea just want to get him off the books. And Man City come in and be like, yeah, we'll give you 50 million or 45 million, and we'll rip your hands off, mate. And ultimately they get what they think is a very good player, and one that they wanted for a while, for a discount price, and Chelsea are left looking like mugs again. Look, he's probably a very good player, and let's not forget that Mauricio Pochettino is an excellent coach of fullbacks. Maybe he'll find his way, settle, and become... I think we're just looking for more dynamism from him. There was a moment as well where he did look like he offered a lot to Chelsea in his first season. I think he played well. I think in the game against Tottenham when he got his hair pulled by, I can't remember who it was, Romero? I can't remember, the Tottenham game. And it was an incorrect decision, and Kane went on to score and equalise. I think he played well in that game, and Chelsea played really well. So there is like this very good player in there that can open up certain elements of the left-sided play, but we haven't seen it in a while. And of course, I want to see Chilwell just play conventional left-back. Again, this is something I go into detail in my previous upload, so feel free to check that out for reference. But yeah, very interesting that apparently Marc Cucurella is a wanted man by many clubs, Leipzig, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid, and, Fulham are theoretically a lower Premier League team, but that's still like big Premier League money. So let me know what you think about Cucurella, and yeah, let's move on. So Chelsea are looking at a couple of strikers in January. Now, more than anything, Nicholas Jackson's already on 3 yellow cards. If you get to 4 yellow cards, you get a ban. So he's done that pretty quickly. Hopefully Bria can come in and be ready to fill in for when that happens. But do Chelsea trust Nico Jackson? Again, this is another player we spoke about in the previous upload in detail. I really like Nicholas Jackson. I think he has the traits, the visible traits of a number 9 that we as Chelsea fans haven't seen for a long time, and that's been just a relief. It's like when Mendy came in after Kepa and just claimed a corner, and we were like, yeah, we were all like spellbound by it because we hadn't seen it in so long. And maybe it was just basic stuff, but we were like, this is amazing, he's amazing. Are we having the same with Nico Jackson because he's holding the ball up, running the channels, and looking like he's got great athleticism? Maybe. I think Chelsea are preparing themselves. I'm going to read about 2 strikers today, of Ivan Toney and, interestingly, Jonathan David. So we're going to jump into Football Insider now and see what's going on with Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney returns to training with Brentford later this month amid widespread links with a move to Chelsea in January. The 27-year-old can't play until the 17th of January, but Chelsea are nonetheless interested in bringing the England international to Stamford Bridge. It's believed believe there was no chance of signing Ivan Toney in the summer while the ban was ongoing, but the January move is a real possibility. Despite signing Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku over the offseason, Chelsea are keen to add a prolific striker to their forward ranks. Armando Broja, who's returning from a serious knee injury, remains an option for the Blues and has been praised heavily by Mauricio Pochettino. Toney managed 21 goals and 5 assists in 35 games across all competitions last season, including the best ever return of 20 Premier League strikes. The former Peterborough striker, who earns a reported wage of £20,000 a week, is out of contract in June 2025. He's idolised at Brentford and he got them promoted into the Premier League when he scored 33 goals in the Championship. Toney also managed 14 goals and 6 assists across all competitions in his first top-flight campaign. Chelsea are in initial talks now with a deal worth over an initial £58 million. Well, that does not surprise me at all. A guy who's in his prime as a senior striker who's just scored 20 Premier League goals for Brentford. Only Harry Kane and of course Erling Haaland playing for Man City scored more. Pretty amazing, really. You'd have to assume, and I know this is a fool's perspective, that, you know, when you move from a Brentford team to a Chelsea team, that he'd score more. Yes, Brentford play a lot of transitional football when he finishes off chances on the break. He'd have to learn to play with the ball, but I think he just could. I think he's just that kind of striker that just loves a goal, basically. I love Ivan Toney. I've said this before. I've nailed my colours to the mast. I would absolutely sign Ivan Toney in January. And if it says 58 million, I mean, that seems pretty low. I thought Brentford would be, you know, talks of 80 million, maybe 80 million including add-ons. Of course, he'd only have, how long would he have? He'd have 18 months left on his deal, maybe, which is probably, you know, it's not that much. They'd probably prefer to sell him for 2 years plus. So maybe that's why the fee could be slightly reduced. The only thing with Ivan Toney, I mean, he's on 20k a week. Chelsea could offer him 100k a week and he'd go, yes, please. The only thing with Ivan Toney is he's a Liverpool fan who likes watching Arsenal. So yeah, you got to move past that as a Chelsea fan. Anyway, apparently Chelsea aren't just looking at a January signing of Ivan Toney, also Jonathan David. Now we're going to read a website called Football Talk here, and it's citing the source as, was it Fitchatches or Fahatches, however you pronounce that publication. I don't know how reliable they are, but they keep popping up and they keep being cited. So let's read what the website says. Chelsea are ready to launch a £51.5 million bid to sign Lille striker Jonathan David in January transfer window as Mauricio Pochettino eyes up more attacking reinforcements. Pochettino is keen on solving his goal scoring problem, with his strikers struggling to find the back of the net consistently this season as they currently lie in 12th place in the Premier League. We've scored just 5 goals and we've conceded 5 goals. With Christopher Nkunku out injured, fellow summer signing Nicholas Jackson is leading Chelsea's attack and has not hit the ground running so far. The 22-year-old has made 5 appearances and scored once, coming in their 3-0 win over Luton at home. This remains Chelsea's only victory this term. Jackson missed a sitter in the 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest last Sunday, and with the pressure mounting on the youngster, it would be prudent to bring in another forward to help share the goal-scoring burden. Several forwards have been linked with a move to Stamford Bridge following the long-term injury to Nkunku, and apparently David has emerged as a prime target. The Spanish news outlet says the West Londoners are ready to bid around 51 million quid, which is 60 million euros, in January, and are confident it will be enough to persuade Lille to cash in on one of their best players. Let's break it down. David has forged the reputation as one of the best forwards in Ligue 1 following his impressive goal-scoring prowess for Lille over the past few seasons. He's netted 61 goals and registered 10 assists in 142 appearances, so that's a goal involvement every other game for his side since he's joined from Ghent in 2020. The 23-year-old has racked up 40 appearances and scored 26 times and provided 4 assists in all competitions last season. During this campaign, he featured in 6 games and has made 4 goal contributions across all competitions. David is a versatile and can play across the front line, making him an ideal fit for Pochettino. Interesting. Look, Jonathan David was being linked to Chelsea and other clubs recently. He scored a lot of goals in League 1. What does that mean to us? Well, firstly, I'm done with signing Serie A strikers, whether it's Lukaku or Higuain. I don't feel like Serie A converts well to Premier League football. Maybe Ligue 1 does more. I mean, the last, high-scoring player we brought from Lille turned out pretty well, Eden Hazard. Maybe Jonathan David will do the same. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Please do comment down below. I look forward to reading your thoughts, feelings, and opinions and all the stories I've cited today. You are, of course, welcome to subscribe if you want to. Thank you for liking the video. And if you want additional non-Chelsea related content, you can check out my sister channel, Football Yannick. All right, friends, take care of yourselves. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy talk. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.